Video game adaptations are a very tricky thing to pull off. In fact, I think generally when adapting a narrative from a video game into a film or series, there's a really bad reputation behind these pieces of media. As of recently though, I feel like things have generally been getting better and directors are starting to really respect and love the source material enough to make some really competent and well-made shows. That's what brings me to our focus for today. Persona 4 is an entry into the Persona franchise that I've covered extensively when it comes to its spin-offs and the narratives presented around this game. This specific game was a really big hit for Atlus in the 2000s and gave them a lot of opportunities to try out different mediums of art. One of their biggest successes in my opinion was the original anime based on the game titled Persona 4 the Animation, which debuted in 2011. As we get to the root of this series and see where it succeeds and missteps as an adaptation of a game we hold very dear to us. I hope you guys are excited. I am Sleep, and welcome to Persona 4 the Animation. I am someone who's relatively not too into anime as a whole due to just the length that a lot of the more beloved series go. I often look for stuff that's relatively short, around 1 or 2 seasons in terms of length, with a compact and complete story. That's something that really made me have interest in this anime, due to it only being a 25-ish episode investment of time. That's actually one of the best selling points of this entire show, in my opinion. It's a relatively compact version of the plot of Persona 4 with some unique and different takes on certain scenes. There's actually some really well-written scenes in the show that I think surpass the stuff they're pulling from. Actually, in some cases, dare I say, they surpass the original in terms of the portrayal of certain characters. The prime example being our protagonist and fucking Giga Chad, Yu Narukami, who went through this amazing transformation because of the show that gave him a bit of a personality and made him this really likable character. I think the dude absolutely steals scenes in the show and is super well voice acted. He really meshes with the cast too, and they genuinely feel like good friends, which is super impressive because these characters were explored over the course of like 60 hours in the game, and here they feel very well established and end up in a place that I get the same connection to these characters with. I actually love how they elaborated on certain characters a bit in the show, like Nanako for example. She gets a whole episode to herself in this 2-part mostly original narrative where she tries to figure out what Yu is doing while he goes on this social link progression spree, doing all these weird tasks and chores that he gets all caught up in. Speaking of social links, they kind of get a bit of a spotlight that I wasn't really expecting to be done at a show as short as this. I actually remember a lot of the moments with certain background characters a bit more in this than the actual game. Like the old lady throwing her comb in the lake, devolving into this fucking rivalry between Yu and this big ass fish as he suits up like he's going to the military. It's a really fun and comedic scene that really stuck with me. I also enjoyed how they made characters like Hanako more engaged within the plot and giving way for our cast to really bounce off of each other in these great character moments. Adapting the general murder mystery plot of the show was really well done too, with them making the mystery feel familiar in tone to the original, having the comedic and tonally serious moments placed well. I think my fairest comparison in this aspect of the show is probably like a Saturday afternoon cartoon series you tune into as a kid with a bit of a more adult edge. I think this works for Persona 4 the Animation though, because that was kind of my comparison when it came to the original, with me often joking about it being kind of like a mature Scooby-Doo. Animation-wise, the show is pretty passable. I do think some of the characters do kind of have weird moments where they look a little weird and a bit budgety at certain angles, but generally they are perfectly fine and work well for the scenes they are presenting. The show has some really good shots thrown in from time to time that visually really stuck with me and presented scenes I've become very familiar with in a way I found interesting and made the small town of Inaba more into an elaborate location. Though we still have no clue what fucking Shadow Realm half of the house the Dojima family lives in is like. Overall, I find the anime adaptation of Persona 4 to be one of the best video game adaptations I've seen. The characters are well developed and translated, the show has pretty decent pacing, and it offers some new character arcs that make the show a worthy watch even for those that have already played the games. Weirdly enough, they tried to redo this anime with Persona 4 the Golden Animation, but it kind of fell on its face. I hope to see Atlus try to adapt some of the older games in the future to anime, as I personally think Persona 1 and 2 would lend themselves well to a pretty coherent and well-told story in an anime format. But that might just be me. Thank you guys for checking out this video, check out Nam's channel in the description, and I hope to see you again. This is Sleep, and I'm out. See ya!